What's going on, guys? My name is Furlong, and if you don't know who I am, I like to run, I like to drone, and I like to film. Good morning, and so today I want to talk about coming back to those thresholds. Now, in the last video I did a video on the thresholds, and I was just, well, I had no idea what they are, and I kind of still don't, but I was just basically playing around with trying to understand what my heart rate is doing while running, and in this case I was basically seeing what I could do by doing a threshold run on a single kilometer, what pace I could do, what was my heart rate, and how was I feeling. And how I did that was I basically ran trying to not push further than where I was uncomfortable, to see what speed I could, well, retain, but also how fast I could go, and also keeping it at a nice threshold pace. Now, after all that, I started to do it a bit more. So today I want to talk to you about a couple of other threshold runs. The first one being is basically running without looking at the pace, but this time looking at the HR, meaning looking at the heart rate, running to see, can I maintain that level of HR? And then secondly, the one will be this time bringing it down into a lower zone. I'll talk a bit about that in the actual video itself, but starting to do a bit of a comparison. So I'll actually be comparing the run I did in the previous video, the run that I did just looking at the heart rate, not looking at the pace, and then the run just managing it to a lower level heart rate. And it'll be interesting to see the different stats all in the same location, where they're not too different, but I don't think that really plays a part. I had the same mindset, I had the same goal in mind while doing these. Let's suss it out. So here's the next threshold run. Alright, it's my favourite spot. Let's do it. Threshold time, threshold time. Currently in there. Whew. Right, so I've just done another threshold kilometer. This time I've just put it onto the heart rate and monitored the heart rate. Didn't even look at the speed or anything like that. Not too bad. Came in at 4:44. I'll have to check what I did in the last episode. I'm curious. I'm very curious. Alright, let's keep going. Pretty solid effort. 5k done and dusted. Pretty good. Threshold run went well. I'll throw it up on screen and I'll compare it to the one that I did just a couple of days ago. Difference here is this one, which is current. I did this without looking at the time, just did it looking at the HR, looking at the threshold, maintaining the threshold. This one was, well, basically just trying to do it from a gut feeling, and then watching the pace, not looking at the heart rate. So current, last time, not too bad, interesting. But if anything, I think things are getting better. Comparing myself to a year ago, I've been able to, yeah, bring some new speed into my running. Alright, at our favourite spot once again, going to just have a play, understanding thresholds, figure out what I'm good at, what I'm not good at. I want to see if I can keep my heart rate low this time, but go below. I want to keep the heart rate, aerobic, which is green, and see if I can speed up. So at the moment I've been doing around the 5:30 in the green. I want to see if I can do between 5 and 5:30 pace
in the green. Let's do it. All right, just hit 3rd K. Now I ran watching this in a threshold. I ran watching the heart rate. Kept it to the green. I think I jumped into the orange, into the threshold for about a couple of seconds, but that was around must have been about a 149 heartbeat. So all in all, I did a pace of 5, maintaining the green, which was aerobic. So I don't know anything about this. I'm just seeing what I can do. Be interesting to see if I can bring it home like that. Doing this run majority in the green and seeing what my pace can be. So that's what I'm going to do for the continuing of this run. Got 2K to go. Let's keep it green and see what we can do. Whew. So I'm struggling to keep it below the 154, which is obviously hitting into the threshold. At the same time, I'm trying to keep a pace, but keep my heart rate going. It's easier said than done. All right, so now I'm in 3.5K in for the last 500 meters, soaring up, trying to hit it around. So threshold kicks in at about 149.
So just for the record, when I'm referring to threshold, I'm actually talking about zone 4. Now this is the zone where I'm usually kind of doing my peak performance. I've just been calling it the threshold zone just because, well, it seems to where I can push myself to a threshold before overperforming, so makes sense. And this usually kicks in around the 148, 149 BPM and goes all the way up until 166, so there's quite a range there. Anyway, back to it.
And struggling to keep it below the 153. I don't feel puffed though, whereas all of a sudden the last 100 meters coming up here, just peaked at 180. I don't know if it's to do with I'm thinking about something, I'm not breathing right. I'm trying to run without pushing my legs, keeping the breathing right while staying focused. Jeebus, man, I feel like it's a triangle. You can either breathe right and focus, or you only get 2 of the 3. Or you can run without pushing and focus, or you can run without pushing and focus on the heart rate, but you can't have all 3. It's about finding that sweet spot, and that's all I'm trying to do. I'm just experimenting, understanding the stats. I have no idea, once again, what this all means, but I'm just curious. All right, let's continue on. Alright, not too bad. So, interesting. I decided to do this run a bit of a, just gotta have some fun, bit of a slow and steady one, not really pushing myself, and I have no idea how I was going for the first half, but once I got to the 2K I decided that I would, play around with some of the different heart rates, and what I managed to do was do that favourite spot where I'm always pushing myself and try and do it in an aerobic state and see what speed I could get to, calming my body down, at the same time trying to, push the limits of that before getting into a threshold. Now ultimately I run best in threshold. Threshold is my fat burning, threshold is where I'm using the most, but I'm trying to think about how can I double down on these kind of things in the long run, literally in the long run, when doing a long run. So interesting. So I've been expressing for the last couple of episodes of what I got for my threshold runs in that kilometer, and I put 2 up on the screen, and I'll do first one, second one, and now I'll put my final one here. This one will come. So the first one and second one, this one and this one, obviously being threshold runs, doing it in a heart rate above 150. Whereas the aerobic, I'm trying to keep it below the 150 in the same spot. So this is what I did here, and it's very interesting because I averaged a pace around, well, if you look at this, I've averaged this pace here. This is probably my best. Then I've averaged it here, trying to not push as much. And then here I haven't been pushing at all, maintaining a heart rate, and I've been able to do a pretty good speed as well. So interesting. Overall I had a heart rate of, which was pretty solid, keeping it quite low then compared to some of my other runs. So yeah, not too bad, pretty good. Anyway, just sussing all this out, it is making me very curious. Very curious indeed. And it's interesting, I mean, as I've been saying over these last couple of threshold runs or heart rate runs or whatever we want to call them, I have no idea what it means. Now, I have an idea that obviously if I'm doing the threshold pace, meaning if I'm in that fat burning, that zone 4, that's where I'm performing at my best, and I understand that now. But at the same time, being able to run at that lower heart rate, meaning I'm being able to breathe better, I'm improving, it's interesting to compare the two. Now, not saying that I'm wanting to, do super fast at that heart rate, but I think for the long runs, I think this is going to make a huge difference. So it's just been fun to have a bit of a play, try and understand it, and I'm curious to hear from you guys of, what are you doing, what have you done, or do you even do this in your own runs and in your training plans? And I'm basically doing all this leading up to my marathon training plan just to get a bit of a taste of it, get a bit of an understanding, and hopefully get some feedback from you guys as well. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think about the comparisons of the three. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, do the whole shebang, and hustle.